भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ।
Dear friends, we had started on the study of the first chapter of the second Mundaka. Now, dears, this chapter, the first chapter of second Mundaka, is highly descriptive and symbolic. And the subject matter is answer to the question as when the student asks his teacher, "Is there anything known, dear Lord, experiencing which nothing else remains to be known?" Nothing else remains to be known. Experiencing which kasminno bhagavo vigyate sarvamidam vigyatam bhavati. This was the question. Is there anything, O Lord, my teacher, is there anything experiencing which? Now, dears, when you translate into English language, there's always a chance of slight ambiguity, a slight deviation. So I will request all of you to get used to the actual Sanskrit words and its meaning. There are two words in Sanskrit. Jnana, that is knowledge. That's all right. That which generates through a process of learning is knowledge. Jnana, that which generates through a process of learning. That is, learning. What is learning? Let us be very precise, because when you study the Upanishads, there should be no scope of ambiguity or misunderstanding or misconception. If that is so, you will get confused. Let me put it this way. Mahashala Shaunaka came and asked. He used the word vigyate, vigyanam, not jnanam. Kasminnu jnate, he never said. Knowing which, is there anything, dear Lord, knowing which nothing else remains to be known? That is a rapid translation and almost an accurate translation of this statement. But what does he say? He, instead of using the word jnana or jnata, he uses the word vijnana and vigyatam. Kasminnu vigyate, experiencing. Jnana is knowing. End result of that knowledge is experiencing. I will give you a very worldly example. We have been told from our childhood, don't touch fire. It will burn you. Through the phonetics, the proper arrangement of words, which has a special capacity known as water, those words explode, as it were, into a meaning and idea. So I am told by mother, my child, never go near the fire, never play with fire, it will burn you. These are all words. The words explode into a meaning, an idea. And I know I should not go near the fire because my mother said it will burn me. But I have no sensation of what being burnt is. I would like to know now, experience now, the sensation of being burnt. So, there's a candle burning, or a diya burning, a oil lamp is burning, and slowly, and I experience the sense of being burnt. So, experimenting on the idea that has been conveyed to you by the words is knowledge. And when you go and touch a fire, a burning candle, you understand what is known as burning, a sensation and experience. You can't express it, but you experience it. Jnana means knowledge, and Vijnana means when that knowledge matures and I experience it, then it is Vijnana. And what produces Jnanam? Vidya. Process of knowing which results in knowledge. In English language, it takes so many words to explain to you. In Sanskrit, it is very easy. Vidya, Jnana, Vijnana. 3 words. Vidya is a process of learning of self-education. That is Vidya. It generates a knowledge. That is Jnanam. And that Jnanam, when it saturates my whole feeling, results in Vijnanam Anubhavakaranam. Swanubhavakaranam. That is, I experience it myself. No more hearsay, no more words. I have got the feeling of what is being burnt. Now the student went and said, is there anything, my dear Lord, experiencing which nothing more remains to be experienced? This is the translation. And the teacher replies, my dear child, there are 2 types of knowledge. Why? Vidya, 2 types of learning. Dve vidye veditavye. 2 types of learning, Vidya, is available to a human being. He starts from learning matures into knowing, knowledge matures into experiencing. This is how he starts, and we have studied it, but because of this context in the first chapter of the second Mundaka, we have to remind ourselves. And no harm in reminding ourselves over and over and over again. then only you will have a total grasp of the procedure of being one with the divine. Without these backgrounds, you'll be just roaming around with woolly-headed ideas, not knowing what is real, what is unreal, and be a victim of hallucination or self-deception. So he asks him, is there anything experiencing which nothing remains more to be experienced? And he replies, there are two types of learning, my dear child. One is aparavidya and the other is paravidya. Na para, apara means not so sublime learning. And the other is sublime learning. What does it mean? It means not so sublime learning, but it is indispensable. Why? There are so many branches of learning in our day-to-day worldly life. They are indispensable. That all that learning rotates around the physicality, the subtlety, the material aspect, the energy aspect of this world. That is, it helps you to generate knowledge about this world which I think is outside me, separated from me. I am, the world is, and I have to know the world through learning. That is an indispensable process of learning, but that learning is indispensable. You can't do without it if you have to live in this world. But it is not the sublime learning. It is not so sublime, but it is required, it is indispensable. That is, let us now put it in the other way, other word, learning about the world and the cosmos. I am the eternal subject and this world is the eternal object. This is what it is. And I know this objectified world, separateness. That is an accepted, axiomatic truth of life in our life and living. And then the other one, paravidya, sublime knowledge, sublime art of knowing, art of learning, paravidya, learning. What is that? Yaya, by means of which, tat aksharam, that absolute, immutable, infinite, eternal, immutable object is known. The learning leads to knowing. Now, aparavidya vishaya has been explained in the first Mundaka in 2 chapters. Firstly, the authenticity of this teaching. Who is the author who speaks with such a commanding influence? Who is that author? Commanding authority. He is the God from whom this wisdom has emanated through some chosen people who have perfected this art of paravidya and identified oneself with the Absolute. Those realized souls, as a representative of divine wisdom, has passed it on to you. That's all right. Now in the second Mundaka, paravidya vishaya is being described. That is how you should understand the flow of the study. Para Vidya Vishaya, sublime way of learning. The object of the learning is a supreme knowledge, beyond which there is nothing else to be known. And that knowledge has to be experienced. Swanubhava Karanam. What does it mean? Swa, myself. Anubhava, experiencing. The process of that knowledge is converted into experiencing. So now you understand here, Vidya, Jnanam, Vijnanam. Vidya is the art of learning. The end result of that learning is convincing knowledge. Nishayatmika buddhi, unshakable, rock solid, crystal clear, intellectual conviction. This is Jnanam for you. And that Jnanam, when you continue your process of self-education through relentless disciplining, relentless perseverance, endless patience, that knowledge slowly and slowly and slowly saturates your being, saturates your personality, and a time comes when it is totally saturated. Your separate existence, your ego, merges with the Absolute. And you know, I am that. I am Atma. Guru says, Tattvam Asi. The teacher says, thou art that. You are the Brahman. The student has undergone all that discipline, and immediately listening to that word, his reaction to that interaction, I am Atma Brahma. Oh, my teacher says, you are that. That means I am that. I am Brahman. I am Atma Brahma. That is what my teacher says. Let me carry on, saturating myself with this idea. And when that saturation process is complete, I come out with this experience. I am Atma Brahma. Aham Brahmasmi. I am that. This is Vijnanam. Vidya, Jnanam, Vijnanam. Now, dear, Paravidya Vishaya is being now discussed in this first chapter of the second Mundaka. But we know Paravidya Vishaya is not contained in a container. It is absolute in itself. That which is absolute, that which is immutable, that which is infinite, eternal, my mind is not educated enough, not capable enough to hold that. But I have to reach there. There is only one avenue of your 5 sense avenues, is the avenue of hearing. That is, you hear water, you don't see it anywhere, but you nod your head, because the language being used is known to you and to me. So that language which I hear in my ears is the only way. Shravanat mukti. Shravanat mukti. Bhakyartha jnanam kartavyam. These are the words. Bhakya is a sentence. Bhakyartha is the meaning of that sentence. That knowledge emanates. That knowledge has to be converted into experience. That is the purpose of life. Bhakyartha jnanam kartavyam. Ihaiva kartavyam. In this very life, you have to do. Now, dears, this is one aspect of in-depth study of the Mundaka Upanishad. Let us not be superficial. Let us not be shallow. As I keep on telling you, in the original formative period of my life, when I was forced to talk in public to teach the scriptures, I said, no, I am not qualified, I cannot. I will not. So how is it possible? You are a Swami. You are here to help people on these lines which are not available in universities. So whether this knowledge will just disappear from the scene, you have to. So Madhavananda Swamiji, our past president, but he was our general secretary for the 18 or more years. My disobedience of my Mahant was sent to him as a complaint that Shalil does not listen to me. He has studied for the last 12 years, he has mastered the subject, and he doesn't want to speak, doesn't want to teach, doesn't want to hold classes. So Madhavananda ji took it so seriously, he asked me to come to Belur all the way from Lucknow to have a few words with him. I had to because I was called officially. Madhavananda ji says, what is your scare? Why are you not? Sorry, diverting, but it is required. These are all pillars on which we build up our lives. What is your scare? Why are you not agreeable? I said, sir, I don't want to be orator. I don't want to sell myself or know myself as a speaker. I am a student of scriptures and that's enough for me. Now listen what Madhavananda has to say. Dear boy, dear sonny, listen. You are here in this organization. This organization was started by Swamiji to propagate the real essence of spirituality and religion as propounded by his matchless master, Sridharananda. This is the purpose of this organization. And this organization is building you up. It will be ungrateful for you to not to give back anything to this organization. How do you give back? By preaching and teaching these noble man-making, character-building ideas. And then the last word. The purpose of the preachers of this organization is not to cater to public taste and popular taste. Not to cater to popular taste, but to create a taste for higher values of life. And that still rings in my ears. We are not here as a popular speaker catering to your state and receive claps from you. No. Though it is difficult for you, I'll be hammering away at it so that you understand the nobler values of life and create a taste in you to be acquainted with those nobler values of life. These are the nobler values of life. So, coming back to this subject, Vidya is the process of learning. End result of Vidya is knowing or knowledge. And that knowledge matures into experience. Coming back, now see, the teacher says, my dear child, thou art that. The guru tells to his student, you are that. And I cannot express that but the word that because it is indescribable. I can only point and say that or this. Tarjani Adhara, point of your index finger. So, he starts with an example now. What is that example? The example is cutting at the root of our sense of separation. When Guru says Tattvam Asi, what is it? You are that. You and that is inseparable. That is the meaning of the sentence. Oh, me and the absolute, I am the same. How is it possible? You read the statements of the realized souls, and they will help you to understand, yes, it is possible. How come? They always anchor their ideas into your own being. I am, I am, I am. I am and the world is. What is the meaning of this word I am? I know, I am aware, I exist. What is the meaning of the word is? Existence. Existence of the world and my experience, Vijnanam, I am experiencing, I am. But I am always qualifying my amness with I. And this I is separate from you. My teacher says, I and you, me and the world, they are not separate, they are the same. That is how it all starts. Tattvam Asi, the student who has a basic training, he says that means I am Atma, what I know as I am, that is Brahman. I am Atma Brahma. That is what is meant. That what I know as I am, in its real state, it is inseparable from Brahman. And how do I conceive that absolute? Conceive through your practical experience every day, every moment. I am, and the world is. The highest common factor is existence, pure and simple. Satsarupata, satta, existence. And I am aware I am. And through my 5 sense organs, I am aware that diverse world is. The diversity, the separateness has a hold in me. That hold of separateness has to be washed away, wiped away. So the second chapter starts. Para Vidya Vishaya. He gives you an example, and examples are wonderful teachers. What is the first example? A blazing fire. And you stoke the fire, you hit the burning timber, and thousands of sparks flow out of the fire. Qualitatively, a bushfire is a fire, spark of a fire is a fire. But because the shape and size and quantity of that fire is infinite, and the shapes and size of fire in a spark is microscopically small. But I understand both of them are fire, both of them have the same quality of burning away. A huge bushfire burns a habitation in a few minutes, and a spark of that fire makes a hole in my shirt sleeve, but it burns. Both of them are fire, but because of the shape, because of the size, because of the quantity, because of the difference, I give it a name of huge blazing fire and a spark. But both of them are fire. This is an example. Now, the absolute is all pervasive, omnipotent, omnipresent. I am included in that. So that blazing fire is in me. And I am a spark, one of 1,000, one of 1,000,000. That means Paravidya is you now educate yourself not to be fooled by, not to be cheated by, not to be deceived by the name, the form, the quality, and its utilitarian value. Don't give any importance. Educate yourself to see the essence of existence in everything. I'm sorry. In English, it is being said, try to see the unity within the diversity. What is the unity in diversity? Everything is. Everything diverse exists. What is the highest common factor? It is. What is a factor in me? I am. Grammatically, I say I am, but the idea is I is. It's wrong to say I is, so I say I am. The world is, I is. But grammatically, I say I am and world is. What happens is, I am, because of my past sanskaras, I am so steeped with the diversity, the hold of a name to know, hold of a form, shape and size to know, hold of a quality to know, and hold of an utilitarian value to know. For ages together, for birth together, I have educated myself like that. So, I stick out like a sore thumb, and the world is separated from me. And that separateness is not only a distinction between me and the cosmos. In the cosmos, I find infinite diversity. So I have educated myself in Apara Vidya Vishaya, where this subject matter was not taken into consideration. What is the subject matter? The highest common factor in this whole cosmos is pure and simple awareness of existence, awareness of isness, Satsarupata, Chitsarupata, Chaitanya Sarupata. Chitsarupata is awareness and Satsarupata is existence. Now, to cut at that root of diversity which has a hold on me, the first chapter of the second Mundaka starts with this example. Sparks are million in number. Sparks are separated from each other. Sparks have generated from the bushfire. They are all fire in essence, but I have developed the attitude of seeing the difference, not the unity hidden behind the difference. Separateness. This is the subject matter of this chapter, dear. And in 10 shlokas, excepting the last concluding shlokas, in 10 or 9 shlokas, the Acharya will give you various examples to re-educate yourself, to learn the methodology, to see oneness in diversity, and that oneness includes this me, which has developed the idea of a separate sore thumb. Please educate yourself. He says, Tatha, is the conclusion of the first shloka, Tatha aksharat vividha saumya bhava prajayante tatra eva cha apijanti. As I've given you examples, I'll give you 3 examples again, though repetitive. On a boat, you go to the Parramatta River, and you have several utensils. You hang them and fill it up Parramatta water. The water is the highest common factor of 10 different utensils. Why they are different? They have different name, different shape, different size, they have different utilitarian value, and they have different qualities. Small, large, medium, big. Now, all those utensils are made of clay. Each one of them are being qualified with these 4. Name, form, quality, utilitarian value. Made of earth, I tell you, hold it and I break it. The water goes back to Parramatta River. And I was thinking that water, glass water, jar water, jug water, pitcher water, all sorts of names. Water is indivisible. Just because of the container, I think it's different. Break the container, water goes back to pyramid. This is one example. Similarly, space. Now see how subtle it is. I am sitting here. You are sitting there. We are gross. We have occupied some space in a particular shape. And that is my form. I have tried to cut the uncuttable ether into a shape. It is ether everywhere. But because I am gross, I am sitting here, and my form is nothing else but a piece of space taken away. And because it is gross, I can't see through, I can touch, I can move. So it is something concrete. But what I am doing, I am cutting the space. Similarly, like water, you have various utensils made of clay. In each, akasha is there. Space is there. We call it ghatakasha, kumbhakasha, and so on and so forth, any name. Break them, akasha merges with us. You have up till now educated yourself with all these four concepts. And those four concepts have such a hold on you that separateness is a part and parcel of your understanding. That has to be removed. Through learning, to develop a rock-solid, crystal-clear intellectual conviction, knowledge, and then you meditate and you get rid of all your bondage, break through your bondage, and you would say, Ayam Atma Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi. That is what you'll say. This chapter will teach you how to look at this world with its different name and form and qualities and utilitarian value. But be alert, concentrate on, keep your attention focused on the unity behind diversity, or the reality behind the appearance. Reality hidden behind the appearance. This was the first example. Tatha aksharat vividha shobhya bhava. Bhava means that what is manifested in the world. On those four concepts, nama, rupa, guna, artha, kriya, karita. Please remember these words so that I don't have to translate every time. The world is full of these four, and we are carried away by the name, the form, the quality, and utilitarian value. He says, all this is an imagination. It is not real. It appears to be real. Now, dears, educate yourself. Go through the process of learning. What? From this akshara, vividha, diverse, bhava, things manifested, comes out of it, goes back to it. Tasmad jayate, tasmin liyate, tad jalam shanta upasita. This is how, dear, the chapter starts. The next shloka is more precise and descriptive, though we have studied it. But it's not, I would say, redundant that we don't repeat it. Divya, Jyotarabam. Now, light. Because of the light, which is within the parameter of our eyesight, the wavelength is not below our eyes, not above our eyes. It doesn't blind us. We see. And through the sight we know. That's what happens. So, effulgence is required to know. Or that awareness that I have generates knowledge through my five sense organs. Because a man who is blind, he says, I know. A man who is deaf, he says, I know. A man who has only one faculty, he says, I know. And the man who has no any faculty, he says, I am. That is the catch point. That awareness of amness, here to explain it to you, that awareness is equated with effulgence. Effulgence is that through which we gather knowledge. Effulgence is awareness. Divya means is plain and simple and pure awareness. Amurta, it has no shape or size or form. Divya hi amurta purushaha. He says, it is in you. Puri shayanat purnatvat ba purusha. That's the definition. He who resides in this body-mind complex, I am, I am, I am. Where are you? Well, I'm in my body. You are residing in this Puri. Puri is a city. This body is a city. Generation of power, utilization of power, get rid of the sewer, the drainage, everything happens in this body. It is nothing else but a city. And he who resides in it, and as soon as you look at him as such, he is Purnatva. He is everywhere. There is no limit. That is, a man who's say both the thighs, both the legs are amputated. Does he ever say, I am 75% am? His amness doesn't disappear. His amness remains. He doesn't have hands, he doesn't have legs. He has just the trunk and the head. I am. He doesn't say, I am 25% am. No, I am full am. Purusha. Why? Don't look up in cloud 9. Look at yourself and try and find out who you are, what you are. Ko aham asmi. Who am I? Divya hi amurta purusha, who resides in body. Sabhadhya abhyantara. He has no inside or outside. Where is inside and outside? Where there is a partition. You have no partition. You are all extensive. You are infinite in time, in space, and you are eternal in time. It is space and time which causes sense of partition. You are beyond both. Shava and Ajaha. You are not born. The body was born, body is a victim of Shadbhava Vikara, 6 modulations, and it disappears. Jayate, asti, bardhate, viparinamate, apakshiyate, nashate. You are beyond all that. Aprana, prana shakti, energy. It doesn't have anything of that sort. Amana, that sankalpa vikalpa atmana manaha. Aprana, amana, shubhra. Shubhra means shuddha. Unpolluted, untainted, unadulterated. Thing in itself. That's how Kant tried to explain what the soul is. Thing in itself which cannot be described. Aprana amana shuddha aksharat parataha para. It is beyond what you know as the cause, ultimate cause. It is beyond that cause. I've given you an example before. Let me repeat. What does it mean? Say a pot of clay. It is there. It is upadana karana, material cause. It is matter, a pot of clay. And say, for instance, I am a potter. I have intellect, I have imagination, I have the deftness of my fingers. I know if I rotate a wheel and put that clay there, with the deftness of my finger, I can prepare whatever I can, which I can imagine with my intellect and perform and produce. I am a creator. Now, the pot of clay is material cause, and the potter, with his intelligence, with his creativity, with his deftness, he is the creator, karana karana. He is the cause to create. But when it is not created, the possibility of thousands of different earthenwares are hidden there, and it is immutable now. But the Creator, with his intelligence, mutates it and creates all that. This is then potential possibility is there, but as long as karana karana is not involved, it is there, it is immutable. But the possibility is there. Maya Shakti, Ajnana Shakti is that. And it is Akshara. But it is activated by the will of the Lord. Maya Adhisha, he who controls Maya. So, before controlling the Maya, in Maya, all this is possible. But it is potentially possible. Nobody has made it possible. So it is Akshara, immutable. So the word immutable Akshara has two connotations. One is the absolute, beyond that potentiality it is. What you experience in Nirvikalpa Samadhi. And that Nirvikalpa Vastu, known as Atman, Brahman, hold to activate his Maya Shakti with all his 6 qualities, Shadbhaga Sambandha Bhagavan, Jnana, Aishwarya, Bala, Birja, Teja, Shakti. With all these 6, he creates this world. Aksharat Parataha Para. It is beyond what you say as the cause of this universe, it is beyond that. So, in this statement, he takes you as you are, me as I am, into consideration, and the learning is teaching you how you go slowly and slowly above by self-education, that is learning. You reach that stage where the world is but not mutated. Immutable causal Brahman. And then it becomes absolute Brahman. Aksharat Parataha Para. It is beyond that. That means Paravidya Vishaya is that process of learning where you re-educate yourself with the help of the scriptures, Swadhyaya, self-education, Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, listening from your Guru and praying to your Ishtadeva to open up your views, and you develop yourself that process of learning where you are focused totally, concentrated absolutely to experience your true original nature through learning, knowing and experiencing. Vidya, Jnanam, Anubhava Karanam. Vijnanam. This is, dear, the subject matter. I took so much of time to discuss these 3 shlokas because hereafter, from the 4th shloka, it will be so funnily descriptive of the world. And whenever the teacher has an opportunity, he would say, Esha Sarvabhuta Antara Atma. This is the essence of all this diversity. That is, while you are learning, don't get caught up in the snare of diversity of these 4 concepts of Nama, Rupa, Guna and Artha, Kriya, Karitva. Concentrate on that absolute, and that absolute for your convenience has taken the shape and form of your Ishtadeva. A human form, your Ishtadeva or your Ishtadevi. Concentrate on that and you will find the form dissolves into luminosity, and that luminosity dissolves into awareness. And you are aware of what you are, who you are, and that is the end of the ball game. Thank you, dears. Thank you ever so much for your patience that you bear with me and my repetitiveness. Thank you, dears. Before I close, dears, I beg your indulgence to pardon me. For unavoidable reasons, there will not be Upanishad classes for the next 2 Sundays. Sunday next and the Sunday next. The 3rd Sunday, Upanishads are on Saturdays. So this Saturday we have done. Next Saturday and Saturday next, 2 Saturdays, because of unavoidable reason, I crave your indulgence and pardon me, there will be no Upanishad classes. I will hold it on the 3rd Saturday, which happens to be 22nd May. Similarly, when I hold my class on Sunday on the Bhagavad Gita, there will be no two Gita classes next Sunday, Sunday next, and it will start on the 23rd. Pardon me for this absence. Thank you, dears. Thank you.
Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.